Hey guys, Ramsey here. Welcome to another live stream. Today is going to be a very special live stream. I know it's a little sporadic. It's Sunday night here in the North America, and I think it's Monday morning where Russian Adam is at, and so we have to do them kind of late at night due to our time differences. He is absolutely swamped with the new collection, and the new collection is, of course, the History of Attar Collection. So I am very excited to bring this to you guys. Russian Adam is having breakfast and then he's going to join us, but I just thought I'd kind of hop on and say hi to everyone and kind of get the conversation started, let you guys start thinking up some questions for Adam. I don't know if we're going to be able to do 4 hours again like we did on the last live stream that we did. He is absolutely swamped with work. Any launch day, especially day one and day two, they are inundated with orders. I know he told me he is working on a new website. I know one of the complaints that I hear people say all the time is that his website crashes, and so I'm hoping that his new website will be up and running and stable. So how's everyone doing? Thanks for joining. Kentai, how you doing? Thank you, sir. What's happening, brother? Duncan is here. You have a TikTok yet? No, man, I don't think I'll be doing TikTok. It's like everything that, I've watched like 1 or 2 TikTok videos and they are basically everything I hate. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, this fragrance is so good and it lasts forever. And oh man, I got so many compliments and thanks a lot and cheers, bye. And that's not my thing. You know what I mean? So thanks to everyone joining on a Sunday night here in North America. My scent of the day, interestingly enough, is his fellow Feel Oud member, Bortnikoff, and it is the Great Oud Monarch. And so if you remember, just a couple days ago, my scent of the day was Russian Oud. And so I have been testing these chocolatey ouds again because there's one in the History of Attar collection, probably the most hyped, because it is the fragrance that uses the most oud oil pound for pound of any fragrance Russian Adam has ever put out. I think he said it was something like 30%. He'll tell us about it, I'm sure, once he joins. He should be on in 15-20 minutes or so. So I'm wearing Oud Monarch today. And I'll tell you what, it is absolutely stunning. And, I can't wait for the collaboration between Bortnikoff and Arise Ladore, because I was just dreaming of, those florals that Bortnikoff does so well. Like this is Magnolia and Frangipani in the top, and it's much more, it is much more floral than what we get from Arise Ladore. Who's weird, Sam? You? What are you doing on here? I thought you said you found someone better to watch. 2 of my favorite peeps, and I have to shower and leave for work. It's all right, man. This recording is going to be up. It's not going anywhere. I appreciate you quick joining, though, my friend. So Russian Adam should be on very soon. And let me block Sam so he's not on here talking smack. He's all upset because I didn't respond to a Instagram message that he sent me, which, I'm completely open with everyone. You know what I mean? Like I allow people to write me. I try and respond and that kind of stuff. But he wrote me in the middle of the workday. I was working. And then he got all offended. I didn't respond to him fast enough. Like I have no, I have no obligation to respond to somebody within a certain amount of time during the workday. You know what I mean? So that was just unprofessional. And then he got all offended and came on here and started leaving evil messages. So he got blocked. Hey, Kevin, good to see you, my friend. Glad you're well after that hurricane. Hope there wasn't too much damage where you were at. I don't know Florida, so I can't say that, Lakeland got hit or didn't get hit. Eugene, what's happening, brother? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're as busy as Russian Adam filling orders, man. I'm in love with La Daulaire Exquise, by the way. I don't know if you saw my amber video, but I put it up there because that ambery resinous dry down really does it for me. Olympic Orchids. Never heard of it, Duncan. Absolutely never heard of it. What's it like? I still got stuff that you sent me, Dunk, like 6-7 months ago. I haven't sniffed yet. Like, you sent me this Lancetti Uomo. And I need to do a video on this very soon. Yeah, I mean, that's the problem when you have all these samples is they get like thrown into, they get thrown into a big bucket, and then some of them get used and some of them kind of get ignored. And unfortunately, sometimes some of the ones that get ignored are absolutely awesome. So thanks for sending me those all that time ago, Dunk. Olympic Orchids woodcut is a masterpiece. Wow, I've never even heard of it. Best cedar fragrance, really. When I think of cedar, I usually think of something like this. This is Tumulte by Christian Lacroix. And it is a very good cedar fragrance, discontinued. This and Gucci Poron, the original from 2003, is usually what I reach for, or Royal Oud, which is really kind of like Royal Cedar. So I just figured I'd hop on here before Adam got on, say hi to everybody, kind of give the quick breakdown on what we're doing. The History of Attar collection, I think, launched yesterday in sample set. And so we are blessed enough to have Russian Adam join us. We're going to get to ask him questions. I hope you guys have some questions for him. And my plan is that I want to do like some first impressions with him on a couple that I haven't smelled yet. But I know you guys are going to want to hear about Beauty and the Beast. That seems to be the Amber de Coco and Beauty and the Beast seem to be the most requested from this set. Yeah, Royal Oud, Dushan, spot on. Probably one of the best creeds, to be honest with you. And it's a Julian Rascanet. It's a Pierre Bourdon student. I mean, it fits the story to perfection. You know what I mean? So yes, Beauty and the Beast is probably the most requested of the bunch. And I did wear this, and I did an early impression when I did my just like intro video a couple days back of the History of Attar collection. The day before this was released, I basically did a quick intro on Beauty and the Beast, like an early impression, because at the time I was wearing this. I was wearing Russian Oud, and these two kind of get compared to each other. And what I said initially was the first 20 or 30 minutes of Beauty and the Beast starts out much more rose heavy, almost smelled like lemony Taif rose, but I don't think there's Taif rose listed in the notes. Let's see, I've got the note listing here. It was Indian rose is what it was listed as. And but what was amazing is in the late dry down, like 4 to 5 hours late dry down, this animalic oud just comes roaring out of the base. And I guess that's why it's called Beauty and the Beast, because it really is like this beautiful rose heavy rose oud fragrance in the top. But right when you think that it's just calm, it's tender, it's gentle, it's not. This beast comes roaring out of the base. And that animalic oud that comes late into the dry down, I'll tell you what, if you could mix the first 3 or 4 hours of Russian Oud and then take the base of Beauty and the Beast and mix that together, you would have a hell of a fragrance. Now, I put this as one of my favorite amber fragrances because it really does have this amazing ambery dry down going. And so the amber notes in this. There's this Peru balsam, if I remember correctly. I think there is myrrh. There's all these resins. Google resinoid, which I looked up before and I already forgot, and a bunch of labdanum. But that ambery dry down of Russian oud is stunning. But if you could mix the two, oh my God. But Beauty and the Beast, I know, is going to get a lot of hype just because of the amount of oud, but you're going to have to be a little bit patient. It doesn't come straight from the get-go. Hey, Michael, welcome, my friend. Amber Kiso by Dias and Durga. You know, I don't think I've ever smelled a Dias and Durga. I might have a sample or two lying around somewhere. Ordered the set yesterday. Yes. You should be excited. It's good stuff. So the ones that I haven't sniffed, let's see if I can pull out the set again while we're waiting on Adam here. So the ones that I haven't sniffed, let's see. Malik Al-Motia, Mysore Essenza, Gul Henna, and Ombre de Coco are the ones that I want to do live impressions of with Adam. And then, of course, we'll talk about the others. We'll talk about his other work. He has some amazing stuff going. So I'm so excited for what the House of Arige Ladore has to put out very soon. Pretty impressed with Olympic Orchids. Interesting. I'll look into it. Really? She was the nose for the original bat. I heard that was a very challenging perfume. I heard they kind of reformulated it to make it a little easier to swallow, but I heard that the original bat was a tough one. Get my hydration in before Adam joins. Which ones are you guys most excited to sniff from this new History of Attar collection? Thank you, man. That means a lot. I really do appreciate it. 99.9% of the people that join are just amazing. I've been really shocked by that, actually. Just the quality of people that we get is stunning. That's good to hear, Kevin. Glad you guys are all right. That was a crazy storm. Hey, Micah, welcome. Really, I don't have very many good figs, Dushan. For whatever reason, fig as a note just, it never interested me. You know, some people love a good fig, and I'm kind of indifferent. Maybe I just haven't found one that I really love yet. You know what I mean? I mean, I'd much rather wear stuff like this. Today, my scent of the day is this Oud Monarch. Actually, Rich Mitch was supposed to wear this with me. We were supposed to be connected through scent today, and he forgot. And so I'm wearing Oud Monarch alone. I think he wore Dior Jules today. And but I love this stuff. And I'm just imagining all of the different mixtures that, you know, Bortnikoff and Russian Adam could do together with their talent. I'm very curious as to how something like that works, you know, when two big perfumers come together, who kind of takes the lead. You know, how does that work? I know I was listening to a podcast from Amouage of Pierre Negrin and Alberto Morias kind of talk about how they collaborated on, I think it was Opus 7. I'm not sure. I can't remember which. Might have been Opus 4. I can't remember which one. But they were talking about how they kind of blended their styles together. So that Bortnikoff collab that you know, Russian Adam has up and coming is very interesting to me. I can't wait. That might be just a pure blind buy, just based on the possibilities. There are more tigers in Texas than in nature. You just playing a bunch of pool dunk? What are you up to, man? So what are you guys excited to sniff from this collection? I know everyone's favorite is, yeah, I really like Lao Oud. That was one that I actually didn't buy at first, and then my buddy Fragnanimous, who I know I've talked about him before, but since we have time while we're waiting on Russian Adam, I'll just show you guys real quick. He sends out these little samples like this, and they're actually pretty cool. So he sends out these samples whenever I buy something from him. And so this was Print Antamara, which I did a video on. But there's his website. His name's Lee from Fragnanimous, and his website's fragnanimous.com. I think he only ships in the North America, but I could be wrong. I know last time I talked to him, he was working on international shipping. And it's where I get all my Bortnikoffs from. It's where I get any of the, Aurice Ladores that I'm going to buy new. A lot of times I'll buy from him. But many of the Aurice Ladores I've captured on the secondary market. He also has like Meleg or any of those indie brands. Lee from Fragnanimous is a great site to bookmark and check. And, he even has 90% full bottles that he sells on the website. So like last time I went, he had a 90% full bottle of MFK's Oud in Eau de Parfum, the original from like 2012 that he did, or whatever it was, not the extrait. But since I bought a Bortnikoff fragrance, I think it was Lau Oud actually bought from him, he gave me that bottle for like $100, and it's worth way more than that. Once he gave me it might have been when I bought Oud Monarch. I can't remember, but it was right before it got announced that it was discontinued. He gave me this for free. This was on the website for like $50. Narciso Rodriguez for him, EDT. And I was like, hey, man, if I buy Oud Monarch, will you throw this in for free? He's like, sure. He's that kind of guy. So I love working with him. He's a good lad, and he's honest and straightforward. And I know that I can send people to his website, and they will get taken care of. That he will take good care of the people that shop with him. He's very honest and straightforward. It's hard to find people like that. So when it comes to these kind of houses, Bortnikoff, Aurice Ladore, Meleg, Prin Lamros, I usually go through that Fragnanimous guy, which here's his website one more time since we have some time to kill. Fragnanimous.com. How about that? Lee is his name. I think he's just a little one-man shop, but he's a cool guy. I really enjoyed working with him. We've chatted a bit. He sent me some samples too once he realized that I had a channel, and I said, man, you don't have to do that. And he's like, you don't have to, talk about them if you don't want to, but I just want to send them to you. And some of them I haven't even talked about on the channel yet. Like he sent me some that I'm still waiting to talk about. I talked about Antamara. I'm still waiting to talk about this Varouk, I think it's called. Prinz Varouk, which I think is a Castoreum fragrance. So I'm kind of excited about this one. And then he sent me Anatolia, which again, another one I haven't talked about yet on the channel. And finally, he sent me Okachal, which sounds like an Indian name, Okachal, but haven't sniffed it, haven't talked about it yet on the channel, but I will. These are going to be great for like first impressions because they're, it's almost a full, probably like 2 mils, more than enough for me to wear, give a full wear to and talk about and stuff like that. So anyways, he's a good reference. He's a good guy to keep his site bookmarked. And I think he must buy some a little bit in bulk because sometimes I've noticed like if you go to Bortnikoff's website or something and they show as sold out, sometimes Lee from Fragnanimous will actually have it. Fragnanimous, Stephen and Max. Who's you mean the Max? The Max? Yeah, that's a hell of a freebie, right? And I had a feeling it was discontinued. I don't think he knew yet. But I'm glad to have gotten it for free because I love this stuff once it this Narciso Rodriguez, once it gets cold and rainy. Oh, this stuff is great. I do like nice deep leathers, so now you got me excited about that one, man. Kavka Zip. Yeah, you guys are way more into Prin than I am. The only Prins that I have are um, the only Prins that I have are this one right here, which is a Stranger's Perfumery one. It's called Cigar Rum. I think they have a Cigar Rum Intense now, even. But Cigar Rum is one that I did go for a full bottle of. Lick the stream. Thanks, Mike. But this is the only full bottle I own. All the other Prins are just little samples and stuff. I'm not the biggest fan of his work. I mean, I like it, but honestly, if I'm going to buy that kind of perfumery, I've learned that I'd rather spend my money on Russian Adam, a Riz Ladore brand, or Bortnikoff. So, you know, but that's just a personal preference. I've met a lot of people that love Prin's work. Yeah, I feel the same way, man. I mean, that's how I feel about a lot of his work that I've sniffed. That Anthamara that was really tough for me to stomach. You know, Anthamara, Ensar's EO2, I think it was, and Ariz Ladore, Oud, Picante, all kind of fell into the same extremely heavy spice area that I just couldn't fathom. It was too much for me. You know, those each one of those from those three brands kind of all fell into this category that I was like, no, not for me. I could appreciate it. And if you go back and watch my video, I have not tried EO1 Kafka Zip. It's on my wish list. I almost blind bought a bottle. I think it was 50 mils. I think it was a 50 mil. But it's like $1,000, you know what I mean? And it's like, man, I don't know, you know, especially since you could potentially get some of Russian Adam's work, you know, for $250. It's tough to spend 4 times that on somebody that I know is. I feel like Ensar is just kind of jacking up the price. I do have a PO box. If you send me an email, my email address is in the description of every single video I do. I'll shoot it to you. Thank you. That's very kind. I know that's expensive stuff, so I appreciate that. But EO1, looking at the notes, if I had to blind buy one, it would probably be EO1. However, I did get the shirt. I don't know, man. It's a Halloween shirt. I think I've had this shirt for a while. I should have put on a suit and I should have put on a shirt and tie for Russian Adam, but it's Sunday and I kind of got lazy. It was my daughter's birthday recently, so my parents came over. Grandma and Grandpa came over to hang out with her this weekend, and so you know we had a great time. But I've just been in weekend mode. If this actually is something and I don't know it, let me know. I have no clue what this is. It looks like a skeleton that winds up with a fuse and legs. So it's a Halloween shirt, and we're in October, and it's my favorite time of year because it's finally starting to cool off. At least in Texas, cool off for me. If it's in the 50s or 60s at night, I am a happy guy. You know, I'd prefer it to be colder, and I know I live in the wrong state for wanting cold weather, but thanks, man. I really do appreciate that. That's awesome. I have been I literally almost blind bought it, and I was like, $1,000 for 50 mil. It kind of hurts, you know what I mean? And especially since I just tried EO2, and EO2 made me really stop in my tracks. And the reason I almost blind bought it is because of this. Someone sent me this actually for free. The guy, and I'm not going to say who it is, but the guy that I purchased this bottle off of, this Russian Oud bottle, which I know is like unicorn status right now, he was very fair to me. He's a fellow frag head. And he was like, hey, man, have you ever smelled this Tiger Lust from Ensar? And I was like, dude, I've never smelled an Ensar. And he's like, I'll send you a sample. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm expecting like the tiniest little drop. He sends me this, this Discovery atomizer. And I was like, holy shit. Oh man, Mike, that's your comment of the maybe comment of the year right there. Yeah, this Tiger Lust was an absolute love for me. I would love a bottle of Tiger Lust, but I just refused to pay $1,000. And so I said, you know what? I have this. Let me blind buy EO1. And then I just, after I smelled EO2, and I was like, whoa, let me put the brakes on for that. And then I know when I did that video on Ensar Oud EO2, a bunch of people in the comments were like, yeah, but you don't understand, man. He uses like, he doesn't use perfume. He doesn't use Perfumers alcohol. He uses like real ambergris and real musks to fill in all the holes. I think Adam's here. Let's see if we can have him on. Adam, we're live, brother. Good to see you, friend.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm very good, thanks. You can hear me fine?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you beautifully. Thank you for taking time out of your very busy release weekend to come chat with us. How has it been going?
Yeah, my pleasure, man. Yeah, that's been really, really, really good. So I'm very, very happy. I just got some sleep, just had my breakfast, and very happy to chat with you.
Round 3. If you guys have not watched round 1 and round 2 of the Russian Atom interview, I would highly urge you to go do that. I think it's some of the best stuff that's on my channel. Actually, the last time we were on, what was it, 4 hours? It was something like that. It was like 4 hours of me and Russian Atom chatting about the ingredients that he sent me. We went into detail on each and every ingredient. So if you have not watched that video, I know I'm still a very small channel, all things told. We're coming up on 2,000 subs, but if you guys are kind of new, you haven't gone back and watched those interviews, for a perfume lover, that is some amazing content. So thanks for doing round 3 here, Adam. I know you're busy. I know you're swamped. So let me start with the opening question. So in Texas, we're starting to get some, cooler weather. Finally, if you don't know, I like the cooler weather. I hate the hot. And we're starting to see with the cooler weather, some of the animals starting to migrate. We're starting to see some of the geese fly down across us to get to, fly south. We're starting to get the monarch butterflies join. I was thinking, about just the natural ebb and flow of nature, and how everything has its time, everything has its age. There's a time for laughter, a time for sadness, and I was thinking about your mission statement to bring what real oud, real musk, real ambergris smells like, to the masses, to the perfume community. Tell us, how does this new History of Attar collection fit into the Arise Ladore concept, if you will?
Yeah, thank you, man. It's a very, very important, very deep question. And I think it's not to do with, musk, oud, and ambergris, as I used to, be focused on before. So now I went a bit deeper, I would say. Because it really goes back to the fact that I'm started, as a distiller, and distillation art for me is very, very important. And I truly believe, distillation is the foundation of perfumery. Therefore, I so much respect those, old tradition, specifically of Indian origin, because many of the ingredients I use coming from there, and I always used to appreciate others, but I felt, that, we're losing this craft. And myself personally, I do not enjoy as much wearing some of their Indian attars need, like Majmua, Shamama. It's kind of amazing experience, but it's not really practical. So I really wanted to, bring something out of it, something more modern, yet looking at it always as my own foundation, looking at it as the a true art that really is the foundation of perfumery, the distillation art. I think for me is extremely important. That's why the meaty attar is something that many might not even pay much attention to, because it's it's very, very simple, it's very affordable, it's like nothing special, it's not too complex, but the idea behind it and the way it's been done is so extremely important to me personally, because it's all about art, it's all about creativity, it's all about experiment, and it's all about distillation and bringing out something that no one could ever imagine. So that's why for me it's so extremely important. But already, as we see, we have some division. Some people love the collection, some people feel not that impressed about it, and it's perfectly fine. As you said, it just makes me feel more genuine and more happy that I'm not just receiving positive comments. I get all sorts of impressions, and I'm very, very, very happy about that.
Yes, absolutely. Tell us. I've gotten a couple questions on this already from people, and I honestly don't know how to answer it. They were asking me, Ramsey, in the spray, what is the concentration? Is it an eau de parfum? Is it an extrait? And I said, I don't know. So can you explain to us maybe what concentration is the spray Attar in sprayable format?
Yeah, that's a very, very also important question. And to be very honest, it's quite difficult to be very precise. First of all, it's all moving around here and there, and we really sometimes have to just call it whatever we feel it should be called. So I felt that most of them feel and perform as eau de parfum. So that's how I call them. I call them eau de parfum. Definitely some of them closer to extract concentration, some of them much lower than extract concentration, but it's definitely different from my previous offerings. In general, they are definitely more, lighter, if you will, in terms of concentration. But some of them, as I said, maybe close to extract, some of them maybe much lower. But with the attars, often it's hard to say. It's hard to say, the concentration of floral notes when you use the base of sandalwood, for example. Often we just go with the feeling, And I felt that, okay, this collection can be called, in general, the parfum, because it's definitely not reaching the level of extract the parfum. And that's not what I wanted. I wanted to give attars a new life, a more space to breathe, and so on. So I definitely intentionally made them a bit less concentrated, so they project more, they're easier to wear, and they are more affordable in general.
So I know that you have kind of made it a point now to stress that you purposely gave these a little bit more room to breathe. Why was it important to give the history of Attar collection a little more room to breathe than the regular Aris Ladore type DNA?
Yeah, I think here is extremely important. As I mentioned, the classical attars that comes in pure oil format, pure attar format, are extremely dense, extremely challenging in terms of the projection and how we can see and appreciate different notes and nuances. So often for Western notes, for Western palette, it's too much. It's just too much. The Shamama and Majmua in general, this type of attars are extremely punchy, extremely concentrated, and extremely dense and thick. And often we cannot just see it and enjoy its beauty, because it's so much concentrated. There are so many things going on at the same time, often making it unbearable almost for me personally. So that's why I thought it's so important, to expand the space and to give them more room to breathe. And I added some of the ingredients, but not that much. Also, just to decorate, just to frame these attars and to show the way they are really, only decorating them slightly here and there. So yeah, the concentration issue here is quite important.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. I know in the past you've said that you like your fragrances to be, extremely intense. And so for you to say that even the Majmua or Shamama regular Indian attars were too much for you must show just how intense they really are. I've never smelled them, but is it an intense experience?
Yeah, it's not that the fact that it's too much for me. It's just the way notes arranged and the fact they are missing some of the classical components that I personally enjoy, because I personally enjoy some of the floral components that kind of balance the composition, more of a French style type of blending, if you will. When you have your spices contrasted with the floral notes, when you have your resins in the base, and you have your citruses at the top. So something that makes a fragrance a bit easier to digest in terms of just appreciating, the development and the way it unfolds. Whereas with Indian attars, it's just like bam, right into your face, 50 spices and and that's it. And it's a wonderful experience, but it's not like a daily wear type of scent, and it's not something that you can easily digest. So that's the reason, I guess, not only the concentration, intensity, richness, but the way notes are arranged within a composition. And I just forgot to mention, I think you also played a big role, in me slowly evolving and discovering the fact that lower concentration often can offer something. It not necessarily, reduces the performance and that's it, and making fragrance weaker or whatnot. Often we get something from it, something positive. And of course, it's the room and the way the notes coming together and the bouquet, you know, present itself in a perfect, absolutely perfect balance. Whereas with the pure oils or extract de parfum, often you have to dig into it. You have to really dig into it because it's extremely, extremely, layered, intense, condensed, and not everyone can easily appreciate it. It takes time. It takes time. The progression of skin is much longer. You need to really often pay very close attention to it. Whereas with or the cologne or the perfume, it's often the complete experience from the first spray. You spray it and you're like, wow, already all the notes are there, all the notes are perfectly present. You can perfectly see every single note, every single nuance. So it's really something, I would say, new for me personally. I started to look into it long ago because we had people requesting this since like 2 or 3 years, asking things like, "Oh, it would be nice to see a Riche d'Adoré in eau de parfum or even eau de cologne to see how it can act in this concentration." So yeah, it's very, very, very important to study this and to look into different concentrations. And again, thank you for expanding my own understanding and knowledge regarding eau de toilette and eau de parfum, especially with the fragrances, like Heritage and Bellamy and all these masterpieces that come accidentally all in eau de toilette concentration.
Yes, I'm honored. Thank you. I wore Boss Number One yesterday just because I thought we were going to do our video together. And, those kind of fragrances just, I don't know, there's something about them. They just ground me. I know you asked me a question during our first live stream. You said, is it a dream or is it a reality? And I think the more I wear those kind of fragrances, it's a reality for me. Like it really changes the way I feel that day. You know what I mean? So yeah, those old 80s fragrances are pure loves for me. And I don't feel like we'll see anything like that at least not from the designers. I think the designers are playing a completely different game now. But I'm honored. If I influence you in any way, it's a big honor, mate. Appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Well, let me ask you this question. So I know you've told me during some of our chats that this history of Attar Collection is not something that you just snapped your fingers and it happened. It's something that you've been working on for a very long time. So tell me and tell kind of the people listening, What was some of the most difficult parts of, bringing this collection to life? What were some of the challenges that you had to overcome in this 7th collection versus some of the previous ones?
Yeah, that's interesting story that behind this collection. It started, I don't know, maybe 2 or more years ago. I traveled to India several times, sourcing different ingredients. I think first time I went there when I purchased the rose for Malik Al Taif, the Indian rose, to support the Taif rose that I had. And then I went there another time, I guess. And that's when I really started to truly appreciate, the way things done there, the way distillers, some of the distillers works there, and the way it's really evolved. The industry was a bit sad, but also excited and wanted to bring some of this history to the world, if you will. And nobody knows this, but there were many challenges. Some of the compositions, in fact, were completely abandoned. So I purchased some of the materials that I liked, some of the attars, I blended some of the perfumes. And after several months, I was like, oh no, man, that's not, it's not good. I'm not liking it. And, the ingredients kind of dropped within a formula because I believe some of the others perhaps been not authentic. So they use different types of bases, different types of things, different types of, and I was like, no man, I'm not going to release this. So I think one of the perfumes since 2 or 3 years ago has been completely abandoned because I didn't like the way it smells, I didn't like the way it performs, I didn't like the way the floral notes dropped within a composition. And then I really started to look for authenticity, testing the ingredients, testing the attars. And many people might not realize this because they think like, oh, what's the point? You have your Indian attars available on eBay, online, Instagram, whatever. You can buy whatever you want. There are plenty of sellers, plenty of different attars, and most of them are extremely cheap. But it's not as easy as it seems, unfortunately. So most of the attars offered, in fact, most of the ingredients from India are not authentic. They are completely synthetic, or they made with different natural ingredients just to replicate the aroma of expensive materials, stuff like rose, even oak moss, and other type of things. So I came across a huge number of fake attars, fake ingredients, until I discover like handful number of trustworthy distillers, suppliers. After testing their product, even within their portfolio, you can find something dodgy, and it's crazy, but it's the way it works, unfortunately. And I can relate to that. I can understand that because I visited, many factories and here and there in Thailand, Laos, and so on. Like most of the oud in Indonesia as well, distilled very, very badly, using very dirty equipment, plastic pipes, and things that affect the quality and the purity of the oil. So the most challenge definitely was to find authentic attars, pure, 100% pure, natural, sandalwood based, that not only smell good, but also 100% pure, natural, and authentic. And obviously you can know this only by the lab testing, because often it's crazy, you can smell the attar, it is amazing, but it might be diluted. 5%, 10% of some other often toxic ingredients might be mixed in it. So it's very, very tough. So the first biggest challenge was to find authentic attars, authentic ingredients, which I did. And then I was quite impressed, and then decided to share these attars with the people as well. They were not necessarily closely related to the collection itself, but those were closely related to Indian attars in general. And I thought it's very essential for people to smell pure sandalwood based attars first, to know, where we're coming from and why it's so amazing and why it's so different and how it smells, how it performs on skin, and how sandalwood carry the floral notes, how the floral notes, are enhanced with sandalwood. So that's definitely was the biggest challenge, to find authentic, high quality materials and to really highlight their natural beauty.
Wow, so you had to kind of go on your own journey of discovering to create this collection, huh? Very interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
I have a question from Maul is the Bro. He says, question for Adam. With all the fantastic ingredients available to Adam, why did he choose a synthetic white musk in one of his perfumes? No disrespect, just curious.
Yeah, this again goes back to how you see things, right? As you always mentioning, you're open-minded person, and your taste not depends on the price tag of particular ingredients or how rare it is. It is often driven by your feelings, by your emotions, by the things you naturally like. And you have perfumes in your collection that cost thousands of dollars, right? And you have perfumes that cost, I don't know, $10 or $20, and some
Seven.
of them, yes, some of them might give you equally amazing emotions and happiness, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, same thing with me. I'm completely open-minded person. I not only stick with the Kinam, with high-grade agarwood, I do love and appreciate lower quality agarwood oils just as much often, or even sometimes more. And it's only depends on my personal preference. This particular white musk that I used, I personally liked. It might sound crazy, but I do like white musk as well as I do like natural deer musk,
Yep.
vintage, Siberian, Indian, and so on. So I thought to take white musk and to use this technique that they use in India and make it unique, because often what they do, obviously now they take some other synthetic components like synthetic sandalwood, glycerin, or whatever, and infuse it with the floral notes. So they rarely use sandalwood these days. Obviously, I found a large number of authentic sandalwood based attars, and I wanted to discover something new. I wanted to do something different. So I said, okay, let's take this white musk that I personally love on its own. I do love the smell of it, and I'm not ashamed of it. You see, so let me take this musk and give it to the distiller and ask him to distill henna flowers on top of it, because I felt that henna flowers have a very specific, very beautiful scent that often, in my personal opinion, not works extremely well when distilled on the top of sandalwood. So I thought, let me try to enhance this beautiful note of henna flowers with the white musk, because I found somehow henna flowers smell a bit similar to this scent of this beautiful white musk that I discovered. So I gave it this base to him. They done the distillation, and I was impressed. I was like, yeah, this smells really, really good. And I personally would love to wear it, and I would love to even try to decorate it further and create some sort of a composition from it. So I went for it, and I'm very, very happy. Just yesterday, I think I wore it. I was very, very glad that I did it, and I enjoyed it, even though some mention that it's kind of feminine, and almost the bride during a wedding can wear it, also with the henna paintings on her hands and so on. But I personally love wearing it, and it's an easy type of scent. It's not your, Ottoman Empire that I prefer to wear like every Friday for prayer, making it a very special occasion scent that you enjoy once in a week and you keep appreciating it again and again. Gul henna and white musk attar is something very easygoing. You can grab a bottle in the morning, you can make 5, 10, 20 sprays, whatever, go enjoy yourself and have a nice one during a very, very hot weather. So I really, really like this type of fragrances as well, just as much almost as the Ottoman Empire and other heavy hitters that I personally prefer to use on special occasions, not to get bored of it.
I have not smelled this yet, so why don't we do an early impression with you on stream? How about we see what it's like?
Yeah, man, go ahead. Go ahead. Let's see if you
Let's give
find
it
it.
a try. All right, let's read the blurb to people who haven't heard about this. Gul Henna, modern, fresh, and floral take on one of the most gorgeous yet misunderstood Indian attars called Mendi Attar. is focused on white henna flowers, bergamot, magnolia, henna flowers, rose, and jasmine distilled at a base of white musk and sandalwood. I like it. The white flower note is very unique. It almost feels like there's a touch of iris in there, but there isn't, right?
Yeah, there isn't.
It must just be that henna the henna flowers. I'm not familiar with that flower, the smell. I'm familiar with henna because my mother used to actually use it as like a hair, like to keep your hair colored naturally. I know women in the Middle East will do that, and I know you mentioned the henna tattoos, but they probably don't smell like the flowers, right?
Yeah, I guess so. There's why it's the most misunderstood, as I mentioned, is because I feel people do not really know how the henna flower smells like. But even in India, there got plenty of henna attars that made extremely dark, extremely spicy, and very very ambery. Those have nothing to do with the henna flower and with the authentic mehendi attar. But the authentic attar, it smells earthy, it smells almost oris-like. I describe it as a rice pudding type of smell. Definitely, oris nuances to it. So it's extremely, extremely unique, extremely beautiful, yet very soft and gentle. So that's why it's even have the white musk nuances in it. This sweet, powdery, clean type of fragrance. So that's why I decided to use white musk to highlight this particular note.
This would be great for someone who doesn't like, normal white floral fragrances that you smell every day, like the jasmine heavy, but you want to maybe have a white flower fragrance, but you don't want to smell like what 99% of white flower fragrances would smell like, because this does smell very unique while still smelling of white flowers.
Yeah, exactly, man. Those are not very heady flowers. They will not make you like dizzy or anything. They are not indolic. They kind of very, very fresh, very delicate, but at the same time, you feel their natural beauty. The magnolia there, the touch of rose, touch of jasmine highlight this powdery, beautiful, white floral henna flower note that I think is, yeah, you're right, very, very unique.
Very unique take on white flowers. Well, I guess let's go through these. I'll spray them and we'll get your take while we talk about them. I'm sure people would love to hear it from the man himself, each one of these. So we talked a little bit about Lamiti before. And this one I've actually smelled before, but I'll go ahead and spray these all again for the stream just to see. Let's see. I'm going to run out of skin here. Let's put Lamiti right here. So what feeling does this evoke in you?
Yeah, the opening is very straightforward. A very straightforward smell of dry clay, and I get a very natural picture, of the standing in in the desert or elsewhere where you get lots of dry soil, and the first rain hits the ground. This particular smell to me it's quite amazing, and that's exactly what I get in the opening. Then once the fragrance mixed with your skin, I get sweetness and powderiness as well. Again, akin to muskiness of deer musk, but without any, bloody animalic nuances. Just a powdery, beautiful skin type of sweetness.
It really does. It really does have that dry clay. How in the world does dry clay get distilled?
Yeah, man, this is something that is so inspirational, so incredible that I really admire. The same thing like, I mentioned in the previous videos, essential oils of pineapple, for example, does not exist, and you cannot distill pineapple and get essential oil. Yet, I personally done attar with the scent of pineapple, where I placed sandalwood as a base, and then I distilled pineapple, and the sandalwood received some of the notes from this amazing fruit. So you cannot really distill clay; it has no essential oil, but somehow they done it, and we got this smell out of it. It's really, really incredible.
That is incredible. Yeah, I wore it to bed the other night, and it really does. For me, I've never been in India when the rains first hit. So I guess someone who was born there, grew up there, probably has much deeper emotions tied to this smell than someone like me, who, when it rains, I usually get the smell of rain and concrete. You know what I mean? But for some reason, I was transported to seeing like the wild animals in Africa sitting there under the trees waiting for the rain to come relieve them from the dry season. That's the image that popped in my head when I smelled this.
Yeah.
But it lasted longer. You said 30 minutes. I got over an hour easily. So I don't think I think for people who are as long as they go in understanding what this is, I think they will really enjoy it because it is a unique experience.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
So let's talk about everyone's most anticipated next. Let's talk about the much hyped Beauty and the Beast already. Let me spray this bad boy again because actually today, interestingly enough, I am wearing Oud Monarch by Bortnikoff, another chocolatey oud. And just the other day, I wore Russian oud, which is what everyone is comparing Beauty and the Beast to. So give us the story behind Beauty and the Beast, because this is one I'm actually really infatuated with, and I'll tell everyone why after maybe you give them your version, your breakdown of it.
Yeah, obviously, Indian Attar Collection is all about attars, but if we talk about Indian ingredients in general, oud and rose are at the top in my personal opinion. So I could not leave those out of the collection, and definitely I wanted to highlight Indian oud and contrast it with the beautiful Indian rose, because for me personally, Indian oud is the most, I think, beloved ingredient from all other ingredients. So I also in love with the rose oud combination. As you know, I made perfumes like Ottoman Empire, the Inverno Russo, Malik Altaif, all those within this oud rose theme. Yet each one smell quite different and highlight a different experience. So this time I wanted to present rose and oud together. That's it. Originally, it's been planned as a two ingredient composition, because the contrast those two provides is just truly mind-blowing, something that everyone needs to experience. The beauty of rose, its feminine softness, honey-like sweetness, its delicious, almost mouth-watering texture. Once coupled with the oud, it's just, yeah, I mean, combination out of this world, really. Like they say, the match made in heaven, right? So I wanted to do oud and rose originally. Then I find it very challenging to get the perfect balance. So I was experimenting with different additions, trying different things, and then I said, let me see how cacao works. And I was truly, surprised and blown away. I didn't even think that I already used cacao in Russian oud. I used cacao in other fragrances. I just went for it, finding the bridge between oud and rose. Even though one of the ouds, I think around 1 kilogram of oud oil, already been custom distilled for me personally using rose water, bringing it very close to the sweetness of rose. Yet I couldn't find a balance. I couldn't find a perfect balance that I wanted. And I went for cacao just as a bridge between the rose and oud. And I found it works perfectly fine, because oud have this chocolatey nuance. Obviously, Indian oud with the dark chocolatey facets is one of my personal favorite. And then rose have this honey-like sweetness, mouth-watering, amazing sweetness. that also pairs so well with the chocolate. So then I tried this experiment and I was like, yeah, I think that's the perfect combination. And you cannot breach oud and rose any better than that. So I used cacao to breach those two ingredients. And as I mentioned, yeah, I used the highest percentage of oud I ever used. It's around 30% of pure oud oil within this formula.
So I talked about it on my first video that I did on this a couple days back. I don't know if you had a chance to watch it, but I said then that I felt like there was a lot of like lemony rose coming through early on. Like it felt like there was Taif rose in this composition early on. And then I remember texting you maybe 4 or 5 hours in and saying, man, the most beautiful animalic oud arose late in the dry down. But now that I'm smelling it again, I'm getting much more oud early than the first time I wore it. The oud is coming out a little bit more, and it could be because I'm smelling Oud Monarch on this hand, and Oud Monarch is the oud that Dimitry Bortnikoff uses, I feel like is much more tame compared to the oud that you use. So maybe that's what it is, but the oud does feel like it makes its presence known. How would you describe the journey of Beauty and the Beast? Because obviously this is the one that I think is getting a lot of hype. People are very interested in Beauty and the Beast, and I love that animalic oud late, but I'm loving it early too. How does it change to you when you wear it?
Yeah, obviously it will depend on people perception of oud and experience with oud and how much they exposed to Indian oud. For me, it's all about rose at the beginning, as you said, and then slowly it transitions and oud arrives late, but then stealing the show. As I told you, that's my personal experience. But for those people who not much exposed to Indian oud and very sensitive to its intense aggressive aroma, they might find oud from the very first spray, from the very beginning. Because as you said, if you compare it to fragrances that contains a slightly lower percentage of oud or sweeter oud, you will feel Beauty and the Beast is the beast from the beginning. For me personally, it's the beauty, and then slowly, gradually, the beast arrives. And I absolutely love this transition because it makes the journey more exciting. You're not just boom faced with the two notes at the same time. You kind of slowly experiencing the rose, getting ready. Then you get the chocolate coming in, and then the chocolatey oud follows up late in the late heart notes or in the base notes. So for me, yeah, it's a perfect movement that I personally experience.
Yep, I think that's a very good. I completely agree, 100%. What is your I know I've talked to you about this a little bit, but I'm wondering if maybe you can elaborate a little on it. I've done some fragrance reviews recently from some more designer houses like Amouage and a couple other brands, Rania J, who use oud. And I realized that the oud feels like it's coming on very early, 20, 30 minutes, and then boom, it's gone. But with your fragrance, like Beauty and the Beast is a perfect example of this. It really feels like the oud truly is the base, you know what I mean? Which normally, I guess that's what oud is. It's used as a strong, heavy bass note. What do you think is causing that disparity? Is it natural? Is it the quality of the ingredients? Is it the way that these houses are using it? Are they just trying to use a drop of oud to say there's oud and then put synthetics in the base? What's your take? Not trying to put you on the spot, but just as two fragrance lovers talking, how do you think your oud differs from something like an Amouage oud they charge $500 for?
Yeah, I guess modern industry, it's all about first quick positive impression. You spray it, you like it, that's it. You're ready to buy it. And that's how it works, unfortunately. For this purpose, for this reason, I guess, perfumers can manipulate the note in order to create this first impression. Positive or negative, depends on your personal taste. So it's first of all to do with the blending, where oud is placed. If oud is placed in the base, it will be evident in the base. If oud is placed in the heart notes, it will slowly show itself in the hard notes. If you place wood at the top, it will show itself at the top. And of course, second most important thing is the type of wood you use, quality you use. It's also extremely important. Thirdly, I would say the percentage of wood. I mean, I don't think you will see any compositions on the market that have 30% of wood oil in it,
No.
right? So that's the thing, you know. If they're adding, I don't know, 1%, 5%, 10% of wood oil, that's how much you're gonna smell, and it's as simple as that, you know. And for us to have a base of pure wood and nothing else is extremely costly. Imagine 30% of pure wood oil within a composition. I mean, how much they gonna charge you for this type of fragrances? It's very, very hard to imagine. And not even many people want this, right? People want something, I don't know, more easy going or complex perhaps, and just with a touch of wood here and there. So again, we're speaking about this earlier. What people really want, it's what they're giving them. People
Yes.
want a touch of wood, they're giving them a touch of wood. If people want a heavy wood fragrance, they might try Beauty and the Beast with 30% of wood oil.
Yep. I think this is going to be a bestseller for you. I think Beauty and the Beast is it's going to be a fan favorite for sure. But I would say, you know, this is one you're going to have to wear a couple times to really feel the oud come out in the base to show itself, because my favorite part of this, as beautiful as this is right now, when I wore this the first time, it was like 4 or 5 hours in where I was like, wow, the most beautiful oud just, you know, showed itself. But you have to be patient. If you're a spray sniff judge kind of guy or gal, you might miss some of the most beautiful oud in the dry down. So this is a very long fragrance. This is like a 12-hour fragrance plus easily, you know.
Yes, I agree.
All right, so let's try some of the other ones that I haven't smelled yet. I have not smelled Mysore Incensa. Let's talk about Mysore Incensa. So here's the blurb. Mysore Incensa, aged Indian Mysore sandalwood, focused incense composition with an alluring vintage feel, showcasing the most traditional way of perfuming using the smoke of frankincense and sandalwood. Smoky frankincense, Indian rose, jasmine, a touch of natural ambergris, Mysore sandalwood distilled in the year 2000. That's the My Sandalwood 2000. Amber accord and natural fossil amber resin. All right, let me spray this for the first time. Tell us a little bit about this while I'm applying.
Yeah, man. Here the challenge is to make Sandalwood 2000 kind of evident and to highlight it a bit in the base, not to overpower this very soft, gentle ingredient because it's extremely soft, extremely delicate. And then I use the very, very traditional French middle notes, enhance them slightly with ambergris, you know, your rose and jasmine, this beautiful combo, bringing it back to very, very ancient classics. And then the top note of smoky frankincense, again, depends on your perception of frankincense, your perception of sandalwood. You might find it smoky, you might find it in, you might find it. We're getting different opinions about this composition. I personally absolutely love how slightly smoky frankincense plays with the classical French floral heart notes, and then lay it in the dry down. I get touches of, again, smoke and gentle sandalwood. So for me, it's all about sandalwood and frankincense, beautified with this floral bouquet, traditional French floral bouquet. So what you getting from it now?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's very slightly smoky. It's the frankincense was very intelligently dosed, but like you said, you have to be careful with real Mysore sandalwood, or even any natural sandalwood. I think many people mistake, because Mysore sandalwood has become like this. It's become like this, you know, this mythical godlike figure in the fragrance community. They hear Mysore sandalwood and they think, oh, it's just going to be a beast and it's going to, you know, project. And I don't think people realize just how soft and smooth and milky real Mysore sandalwood is. So I completely see, if you're going to let it shine, you have to make sure nothing else overshadows that note. You know what I mean? And from first sniff, I can tell that probably the reason that the feedback on this is hit or miss is because it's a little soft. You know, it's not a screamer. This is something that would be a very calming, soothing fragrance, I think.
Yeah, there is definite connection to Santal Galore. Santal Galore being much heavier fragrance, much darker fragrance, much richer fragrance. Here we have a very, very, soft experience as well as projecting experience. So we have plenty of room for these notes to breathe. Santal Galore was extremely packed, extremely dense, rich, with your durian, with your florals being more concentrated, with your sandalwood being oil, as well as the absolute being very, very resinous, very dense, very dark, rich, again, almost like a attar type of experience. Whereas here, if you wear this fragrance, I mean, once you have to take Santal Incenza alone and, and spray all over your body and give it a day, just wear it throughout the day and see how it projects. It's quite magical experience, because having so much space, it really pushes the boundaries. It is soft, but it projects extremely well, and it's a great achievement for me personally.
Yes, it's tough because I've got Beauty and the Beast here, and I've got Mysore Senza here, so it's really overshadowed by Beauty and the Beast. But I think Santal Galore for me was like a holy grail sandalwood fragrance. I mean, I think it probably is my favorite sandalwood fragrance I've ever smelled. So it's not fair to Mysore Senza to put it up against, what I considered one of the greatest sandalwood fragrances of all time. But
yeah,
this is really good.
You see, you're not gonna wear Santal Galore every single day, and you cannot grab Santal Galore in the morning once you just wake up, and do 10, 20 sprays and go to work or go for a walk. But Mysore and Senza is an easy way, an easier alternative. The scent that you can, wear with ease during a hotter weather, during any occasion, really, not only special specific occasion.
I would be curious to see how that sandalwood comes out in the base. I assume it would be very beautiful once it dries.
Yes, definitely.
Well, let's move on to Malik Al-Motia. So this is the other one I've never smelled. So Malik Al-Motia says it is a heavy oriental twist on one of the most beautiful Indian jasmine attars called Attar Motia. Top notes of jasmine grandiflorum, blue lotus, and divana, heart of Motia, which is that jasmine sambac or?
Yes, Motia is jasmine sambac.
Okay. And
also grandiflorum jasmine in this composition.
Okay, yep, both. Attar based in sandalwood oil oud from Prachinburi province in Thailand, sandalwood, benzoin, peru balsam, and amber accord. So this is like a take on an oriental, yeah?
Yes, jasmine focused oriental fragrance. Maybe where are you gonna spray it?
I'm gonna spray it in between. Here, I've got the elbow, I've got the wrist. Let's do in between. All right, let's see how this is. The first one that Gul Al-Henna I'm really liking, actually. I think that is a very unique take on a white floral.
Yes, I'm happy to hear.
Oh, wow. Oh, I like this. You can see my taste. I have Beauty and the Beast and Malik Al-Motia. Yeah, that's but I like stuff like this though. That's the thing. Somebody else might smell this and the jasmine might put them off, but this is beautiful jasmine, man. Very reminds me very much of the real jasmine autos you sent me, the jasmine sambac and jasmine grandiflorum autos.
Yeah, other reviewer also mentioned that it goes into direction more of pure ruchs, where they are very dark, very concentrated. Here I highlighted jasmine with the very unique notes of Davana and Blue Lotus. So you might get this amazing sweetness, exotic type of sweetness coming from Davana, slightly boozy, red type of herbal notes. And then the Blue Lotus also is very, very unique, highlighting the scent of natural jasmine.
What does Divana smell like to you? What kind of aura does it give off?
Yeah, extremely sweet, red type of aura with slight, maybe boozy nuances, wine like of flavor to it, slight herbal nuances. It's extremely, extremely exotic, lush, very rich, sweet, boozy fragrance, I would say.
You know what's amazing about these though is like obviously you can say, okay, this is an oriental, this is a white floral, this is a rose oud, this is a incense sandalwood, but honestly, I can't say that these smell like anything I've ever smelled. Like there's nothing that I can't say this smells like opium because it doesn't. I can't say it smells like youth dew because it doesn't. It's it's very unique. It's hard to place because it is unique, but I am getting this oriental boozy. You said red berry. I guess I'm getting more of this green indolic jasmine coming through. It's beautiful. But even though there's jasmine, I don't think it's feminine at all. I think it's completely unisex, 100%. Anyone, I would have no problem wearing this personally.
Yeah, definitely. Another very, very important thing to mention is the fact that I compose these perfumes for people to be able to have an easy wear. For most of them, I mean, for obviously there are heavy hitters like Beauty and the Beast, but in general, yeah, even Malik and Almota, you're not supposed to dig in it, throughout the day, right? Obviously, it's good to study the fragrance. It's good to smell it up close, to appreciate development, nuances, study, all the notes, carefully try to identify different notes. But in general, it's all about the aura it creates, unlike the traditional Indian attars, because those create quite challenging aura around you. Whereas here, you spray Malik Almotia, and you need to feel it in the air. The experience will be quite different. Obviously, now for you it's difficult to do because in the air you got all this mixed together. But yeah, that's definitely something I would recommend people just to spray it, to wear it, and then almost forget about it, and then start catching, the whiffs of it, and start to feeling the aura it creates. Because yesterday I've been wearing this Gulhina. Yeah, up close, it's nice. You can appreciate magnolia more. You can feel the bergamot. You can feel the flowers. You can feel the touch of rose, jasmine, henna. You can see it up close more clearly. But when I almost forgot about it, that's actually the point where I was enjoying it the most. I was
Yeah.
like, wow, what's that? That's amazing aroma coming from where? And it's obviously from myself, from Gulhina.
Yes. Yes, and there are people who enjoy wearing their fragrances that way. I know my buddy Eugene has mentioned many times that he likes fragrances that kind of play peekaboo. They disappear, they come back. There are people that, really appreciate that kind of perfumery. But I am loving this. I am loving this Oriental. This is so far the Malika Motia, the Beauty and the Beast, and let's save Al Majmua for last because I know I love that one. That one, that's probably still one of my favorites, even with Beauty and the Beast and Malika Motia being big time winners for me. But let's try this Ombre de Coco. That's the last one I haven't sprayed yet. So this is the most popular, complex, and intense Indian attar, known as Amber Shamama, transformed into a modern, sophisticated, spicy sandal and oud shifra perfume composition. Top notes of touch of peach accord and cacao absolute. Heart more than 50 various Indian spices. 50. Um, distilled in a pure Indian sandalwood, touch of ambergris, Indian oud, oak moss, and amber accord. Okay, I'm running out of skin. Let's put it right here. All right, tell me what you make of Ambre de Coco. What's your breakdown?
Yeah, again, first of all, it was extremely challenging to find a truly authentic, amazing smelling, perfectly balanced Shamama Attar. And one I found, I believe, is the best Shamama I ever smelled. And I didn't do much to it. I just wanted to frame it to highlight its beauty. You know, it's all about very smooth sandalwood with lots of perfectly balanced spices. You cannot see like, oh, that's the anise, oh, that's cinnamon, oh, that's the
Yes.
nutmeg. All of it is creating like this amazing bouquet of spices that is perfectly balanced, smooth, and becoming one. It's like really something extremely hard to achieve distilling shamama, because imagine you just dig the 50 spices into the pot, and what you're gonna get, most of the shamama smell extremely pungent, extremely unpleasant, and I'm really struggling with this particular other. But the one I found was so beautifully balanced. I just wanted to highlight its perfect balance in terms of spices, sandalwood. So just added touch of my traditional lava-like ambery accord in the base with oak moss, touch of wood, and then giving it a slight more modern, more sweeter top note of peach and cacao. But again, I do not think it smells like Russian wood or Beauty and the Beast.
Nope, it doesn't. It absolutely doesn't. And when I was reading it and I heard 50 spices, I instantly thought, oh no, oud picante, because I did not like oud picante. But you know what? Oud picante was extremely heavy spices, and even though there's 50 spices in here, you're right, it would be impossible to pick them out. It's it's blended into like one ball of smell, you know. It's yeah, I mean, I could maybe list one or two spices and everything else would be a complete guess.
Yes, definitely. But how you liking it?
I like it. I like it a lot. I was worried when I saw 50 spices, but this is very well done. Like you said, very wearable. I mean, I could wear this to the office even, I think. I don't think this would offend anybody. I mean, hell, I would wear Beauty and the Beast to the office because I wear whatever I want. But this is very good.
Yeah, happy to hear that. And here, the sandalwood, I would say, is the star of the show. You know, spicy sandalwood enhanced with this bouquet of spices, because the percentage of the sandalwood in bread de coco is insane. It's insane. I don't know, like 50 or more percent of sandalwood.
I think I like the Ambre de Coco sandalwood vibe a little bit more than in Mysore Incensa, but it's much more. It's heavier. You know what I mean? It's a heavier wear.
Yeah, I would say Beauty and the Beast first in terms of heaviness, then the Ambre de Coco, then Malik Al Moti, I would say.
Yeah, yeah. The Malik Al Motia feels really strong right now. It almost feels like it's even stronger than Ambre de Coco.
Yeah, it's definitely more complex, but in terms of the strength, I think when you're talking spices, sandalwood, like base note, heavy things, I think Ambre de Coco is a bit heavier, but Malik Al Moti definitely is more complex, maybe more projecting due to the amazing floral bouquet.
Wow. Beautiful. Oh, this room smells amazing right now, by the way. Okay, last one. Where am I going to put Al Majmua? Because this one I was completely blown away. Well, if you guys have been following my channel, you know I am a Shifra lover through and through. I love Shifras of all types. I mean, you name it. If it's a Shifra, I'm in love. Mitsuko, Diaghilev, you know, there's a Oriental Shifra, which I know that we both love, which is MDCI's Shifra Palaton. I mean, any Shifra, you name it, I'm a Shifra lover. And this one, this Al Majmua, man, what a fragrance this was. Let me spray this.
You still want to spray it on, huh? You already did.
Man, this is so good. Oh, this might be my favorite from the whole collection, man. Uh, it's just, this is one of the best Shifras I've smelled in years, like new, new on the market. But you know what I told Russian Adam that it reminded me of? Let me see if I can find it real quick here, if I have it handy. Um, there was a very old fragrance. It's over 100 years old. And it is called, here it is. Is it? Where is it? Where did it go? Oh, I guess I
Yeah,
should have been better
surprised.
prepared.
It reminded me of the old Russian perfumes. I was very surprised to hear that.
Yes, Red Moscow. I got a lot of Red Moscow from this from 1912. But Red Moscow, when I smelled it, I loved it. I still want a bottle of Red Moscow. Oh,
Yeah,
that is so good.
definitely you got the vintage Red Moscow, yeah, because the recent formulation is very, very bad.
Yes, that's what I hear. You sent it to me. You sent me a little sample.
Yes.
But tell us about this Al Majmua, because as great as all these other ones are, and I really like Beauty and the Beast, I really like Ambre de Coco, I really like the Malik Al Motia, but this Al Majmua steals the show for me. How did you create this? This is an amazing Shifra. Tell us about this fragrance.
Yeah, again, I really didn't do much, as Claire mentioned from Take One Thing Off blog, that I simply framed the attar itself. The attar itself is quite amazing. It's quite green, fresh, slightly floral, with a very, very particular, exotic, very unique scent to it. I personally struggle with it again because I find it, I don't know why, just it's a bit too much for me in its pure form in terms of the note arrangement, maybe. So I wanted to give this classical French feel to it. I wanted to make Chypre, a green type of Chypre out of it, yet not disturbing its natural character. So I just added traditional Chypre elements like cedarwood, oak moss, iris into the base. I think it fits extremely well for the hard notes and the ingredients used for the Majmua Attar. And then just added bergamot and blackcurrant, highlighting the greenness, the freshness, slight pieciness of the attar. And yeah, it turns out extremely well, extremely well. I think it will be very popular because of this, classical Shipra amazing character it has, as well as the character of the actual Majmua Attar. I think it played wonderful,
I
absolutely
mean,
wonderful.
if you guys like Mitsuko, if you like Diaghilev, if you like those old school Shifras, if you like, I don't know if anyone smelled Red Moscow in the comments, but if you've smelled Red Moscow, it gives me a Red Moscow vibe, which I believe Red Moscow is a Shifra, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Shipra. It's a carnation focused composition. So I think the similarities you get is in maybe cedarwood, oak moss, iris, patchouli vibe, and that's it. I think because Red Moscow to me is quite different. It's a carnation focused, spicy carnation focused composition.
Yes. Yep. But I remember talking to you about it, and I remember you talking about just how high quality some of the ingredients are. Like you think because it sells for $1, $2, $3, $5, it's cheap, but it's not. The materials used in Red Moscow were amazing, right?
Yeah, there are some hidden gems in Russian perfumery. Got hyped like some of the French classics, yet the ingredients might be superior. And I think, as Russian person, Russian perfumers back in the day had a heavier hand for animalics. Like
Yes.
me, almost. They added a bit extra of ambergris, a bit extra of civet, and obviously the musk. I think musk is lacking. The musk already been synthetically made in 1920s, I think, or something. So they already used the synthetic musk alternatives back then, unfortunately. But for ambergris and civet, castoreum, lots of it in the base for
Yes.
Russian.
If you like Teatro alla Scala, if you like, I mean, you know, if you like Coco from the 80s, I would recommend you try this. This is really good. This is the one that really took me back. I mean, they're all good, but Beauty and the Beast and this one are probably my two favorites. With I would say number 3 would probably be I can't remember where I put everything. Probably Malik Al Motia is number 3 for me.
I see.
Question from the chat. Garasis asks, question for Adam. How similar is Beauty and the Beast to Russian Oud? Any stark differences between the two? I ask because the notes are very similar.
Yeah, man. As I said, to me, those two have only a few things in common, maybe cacao and oud, but in general, Russian oud is amber, resinous oud fragrance with cacao nuances, whereas Beauty and the Beast is almost like a pure oud fragrance with the top note of rose and cacao X just as a bridge. So I would say it's extremely different and unique from Russian oud. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's different the way that it wears too. I just wore Russian Oud the other day. Maybe I'll do like a comparison video if I get a chance. But yes, it's they're gonna get compared because they both have that chocolatey oud vibe. But for me, I would take, you know, if you could blend the two together, my God, what a fragrance that would be. It is because the rose in the opening of Beauty and the Beast really is beautiful. It still smells like there's a little bit of Taif rose in here. There's this lemoniness from the rose that I keep getting early within the first like hour or two. You know what I mean? It gives off that lemony, fresher Taif rose vibe, even though it's Indian, but I know it's Indian rose, but it has this fruity, lemony opening with the rose, you know?
Yeah, Indian rose often is used as an alternative, or even sold as Thai rose. That's the fact, unfortunately, and that's
Really?
why I used Indian rose to support the Thai rose in Malik Al Taif, because many of the batches can smell extremely close to Thai rose. You're absolutely right.
Rachel was asking how barnyard is Indian Oud. I'm guessing maybe she's asking how barnyard is the Indian Oud in Beauty and the Beast.
I would say it's quite barnyard. It's very barnyard, but again, perfectly softened with the sweetened with the cacao and decorated with rose. So if you fear of barnyard wood, I think you will not be let down or disappointed. I think it's still extremely wearable. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that it walks that line between being wearable, but also giving like someone like me or someone like you. I know we have very similar tastes because we always want more. You know, we always want more animalics, more intense, more of everything. And this satisfied me when I wore it. It's satisfying right now, but I would have no problem wearing this out in the world. I mean, and that's a pretty hard thing to do, to walk that line, to be both wearable and also satisfy a fragrance addict like me, you know?
Yeah, because that's at the end of the day, perfumer is all about that. If you want barnyard wood, I just wear my pure barnyard wood. That's it. But making a composition, I wanted to present, something variable, something useful for people, something they can enjoy and appreciate, not only at night at home, but also they can wear it out and have a good time. And actually, Russian wood, the main idea behind it was to introduce this dark chocolate barnyard wood to the masses, to the people who normally hate Indian wood. And that's why the percentage of wood in Russian wood is significantly lower, and it's decorated with this more common, more likable, ambery nuances, sweet resinous nuances. I think it served the target well, right? People who do not like oud can appreciate Russian oud and can start slowly to gravitate towards actual Indian oud.
Yes, actually, I did a top amber countdown video the other day, and this was in my top 5 because the amber dry down in Russian oud is actually beautiful. One of the most amazing ambery dry downs I've ever smelled, with the balsams, the resins, the benzoin, all that stuff. It's amazing, and very wearable. You know, like you said, lava-like. It has that lava-like resinous ambery dry down, whereas Beauty and the Beast, hour 4, hour 5, hour 6, you're still getting beautiful barnyard animalic oud pumping off your wrist. Like I said, this is at least a 12-hour fragrance, maybe a full day, maybe a full 24 hours. You know, because oud is a very strong base, right? It really holds everything together, and when you're using high quality oud, lasts and lasts and lasts. So yes, that's kind of the differences to me. This is more ambery in the dry down. You get more rose in Beauty and the Beast at first, but then the oud really comes through after the bridge with the cacao fades away, and it's beautiful dry down.
Yeah, man, happy you like it.
Nikki says, I'm always so amazed what an incredible, genuine, good person Adam is, and it comes through in his art.
My pleasure. Thanks to you guys. All praise to God Almighty. Just simply doing what I love and trying to do my best in it.
Yes, we all really appreciate it. I'm going through the comments to see if there's some more questions for you. Are the sample sets running low?
Not yet, but it seems maybe soon they will be. Yes.
Oh, here's a good question from Rachel. We didn't even get a chance to touch on this yet. You released real attars before the sprayable attars. So, like, for example, you recently released Champaka and Sandalwood, and you released Genda, which is Marigold and Sandalwood, these actual attars themselves. So Rachel asks, would you wear any of these attars, which were kind of made to be mixed and matched with the sprayable perfumes, or are they just completely separate?
Definitely, you could try. It's not something that I would personally recommend, but again, we had our dear Kafkaesque, layering attars with some of the Western fragrances, and having an amazing experience. I personally prefer to layer attars with each other, and I feel it's more appropriate, and I got amazing results from it. But definitely, you can layer Malik Al Motia with the Motia attar itself. But I think it's already extremely complex, and you really do not need to add anything. Sandalwood and Motia and Jasmine already in there. So why would you add actual attar? Unless you feel like you want more Jasmine, you want more Sandalwood, okay, then you can layer Motia attar with the Malik Al Motia. I think that's quite straightforward. Yeah.
Yeah. Are there still the actual attars left, or are they also running low? Are there sample sets of both, or just the sprayable attars?
I think the full set of attars is running low. The one where you get an amazing gift of Sandalwood 2000. Again, yes, Sandalwood 2000 definitely can be layered with Mysore and Senza. If you have your Sandalwood 2000 and you want to enhance this note in Mysore and Senza, definitely you apply Sandalwood 2000, Santal from the full set of attars, and then you spray you spray Mysore and Senza on top. And then
Yes.
definitely you will get more Mysore coming out from the composition.
And finally, I have a question about a future release, which I know last time we talked, you had let the cat out of the bag that you and Dimitry Bortnikoff are doing a joint composition together. So tell us, is there anything that you can say other than it is being worked on with your good friend Bortnikoff, who you founded Feel Oud with? I think everyone is waiting. And is it a release that you guys are planning for this year or maybe next year?
Yeah, that's the thing. You see, people often get excited, but things behind the scene left behind, and it takes so much work and effort to come up with the good compositions, with the good presentation, and taking lots of our energy and time, and it is extremely difficult. So we will be going to Dubai at the end of this month. Bortnikoff and me will be presenting our fragrances in Dubai at Beauty World exhibition. We are
Wow.
very happy, excited about it. Maybe even our stalls gonna be next to each other, and we extremely looking forward to it. We were planning to bring at least one composition that we composed together to this very exhibition. But now, I mean, I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it because many of the components are still not ready, still processed. So I would say, I don't know. I would say next year, probably next year.
Well, what a blessing that's going to be to see you two come together for a couple compositions, because I know you said you specifically were very strict and you didn't want your styles to blend together because you wanted to have your style and he wanted to have his. How, when you're working together, I know you also did it with Taha when it comes to Ocularia Blossom. What is that process like when you are, you have a style, Taha has a style, you have a style, Dimitry has a style. How do two perfumers kind of come together to create one fragrance?
It is extremely challenging. I would say this particular topic of collaboration and composing perfume together is the most difficult challenge I ever faced, I think. And again, talking about behind the scene, there were projects completely left behind because we could not achieve a successful outcome, and there were some collaborations that been abandoned because of that. So it's extremely difficult process, especially now being far away from each other. Me living in Indonesia, Bortnikov still staying in Thailand. We had to compose and then dispatch the samples, smell it, evaluate, then compose again, then send it back the samples back and forth. Is extremely time consuming, extremely challenging, but I enjoy the process obviously, and the outcome. Very happy about the outcome as well.
Yes, you guys also aren't constrained. I know when Eugene was telling me about the process with Antoine Lee, he was saying that there's normally only like 3 or 4, I don't know what the perfumers call it, maybe like it's almost like a redo, like a take, like another take, like take 1, take 2, take 3. They only do like 3 or 4, but with you guys, I guess you could do 50, 100, you're not on the same time constraint and budgetary issues maybe as some of the big French houses, right? How many back and forths is there usually with you guys? Is it, just 3, 4, or are there sometimes 20, 30, 50, different versions of a fragrance before you get it perfect?
Yeah, just as I've spoken to one of my friends back in Russia the other day, I said that often people they stay together, but their hearts are not connected. Their hearts are not together. Whereas often we might be in different parts of the world, we might not see each other for years, but our hearts indeed connected and we feel each other. So it was easier due to that, obviously, because I understand, Bortnikov, the way he thinks, the way he distill, the way he blend. Now I think I also understand, and it was easier. So we had like several takes, several failures. So it wasn't like 50 times, obviously, sending back and forth. But yeah, with several takes, we achieved amazing results already, according to me personally.
That's amazing. Yep, I'm sure there'll be huge demand for that. Let's see if there's any more questions. I know you are absolutely swamped with work since it's release weekend for you guys. I really appreciate you taking the time and chatting with us here, Adam.
Yeah, my pleasure. You mentioned your scent of the day, so let me mention mine.
Yes.
I wore this tiny sample that I purchased way back in the past, and it was extremely expensive. I think the most expensive fragrance I ever bought. 1 ml cost me something like $50. I think 1 ml sample.
What?
Yes, and this is the. I have a picture here of the bottle. It's Old Guerlain, called Bouquet de Fauns. It's a very very rare fragrance, and its original bottle. I think it's almost impossible to come across. This is the bottle, how it looked like. The
Wow.
original release maybe 100 plus years ago it's been released, not sure. So I wore this sample today, and I really liked it. I would say it is the best, not leather but suede fragrance that I ever experienced. It has this
Oh,
amazing suede, very soft, delicate leather type of note, not like your rough, tough, sharp leather, but a very, very soft, very, gentle leather note. And to me, it reminded me Mitsuko, not in the way it smells, but in the way it makes me feel, because Mitsuko makes me feel almost like I'm biting on this juicy peach, that has these hairs all over it, and you almost feel the hairs, you feel the juiciness, you feel the sweetness coming out. This amazing peach uh, character that it delivers. The opening of vintage extract of Mitsuko. When I apply it to my beard, I apply it to my neck. I almost feel like I'm biting on this very juicy, amazing peach. Very natural, very very flavorful, very sweet, extremely like heavenly type of experience. The same thing here, but it's to do with the leather. It's like you touching this very soft suede leather, brown, very, very delicate, very, very soft, almost like you petting this leather. So this is really a stunning suede composition. Obviously, you have your garlandate in the base. You have a bit more animalics than usually you get from Guerlain. You get castoreum, I think maybe some musk, and then the classical French bouquet, again rose, orris, jasmine, and this leather, man. This leather is really something else. So I just finished this $50 1 ml sample, and today I feel very very special, very
I
good.
uh, I put it on the wish list already. Bouquet de Fans. I found a like a 5 ml vial of Jedi, and that was an absolute blessing and an honor to get to smell that. And then when you told me that that was the inspiration for, well, you hadn't even smelled it yet, but you were thinking of it when you created War and Peace. Jedi meant even more after I knew that story. So Bouquet de Fans is on the sniff list. I'm gonna find a sample of this somewhere.
For me personally, the Bouquet de France is another level. Even it has a more amazing impression on me, more than Jendi. I would say more than Jendi.
One of the greatest perfumers of all time, Jacques Guerlain. I mean,
Yeah, man, that's worth it. $50 per 1 ml, maybe
it's
maybe
worth it. I
for
mean,
this.
that'll be imprinted in your brain forever.
Yeah, yeah. And let me also mention few of the latest purchases that I made, few of the things I went through, some of the things you inspired me to get, and I was very, very pleased actually. So lately I finished my Chypre Palatine bottle, so
You did.
that's now empty, and I'm very sad. But the very, very interesting story about it is that I bought this bottle because I sampled recent formulation from Lucky Scent, and I wasn't pleased at all. I wasn't happy. And then I purchased this bottle. The juice was dark, and the one I got a sample from Lucky Scent was very, very light juice, almost transparent. And I gave it to my friend, the sample. And then after around 3 months, we met with my friend, and he brought this sample back. I wanted to compare it to the bigger bottle, the more vintage juice, I believe. And then I noticed his sample turned extremely dark. And I was like, wow. is it the same sample? He said, yes. I told him, see, it's getting darker. What's going on? He said, yeah, I don't know. It's changing, you know. And I sprayed it, and I sprayed darker juice from my bottle, and I couldn't find any difference really. I was really surprised and blown away by the fact that it's kind of aged. Maybe the juice gotten much darker and the smell became quite different, you know. And I was pleased even with the recent sample after like 3 or 4 months of it aging. So I was very surprised.
That is amazing. And I remember that the owner of MDCI vigorously defended the fact that there was no change to the formula. And he was berated and heckled. But that's a very interesting story, how sometimes just letting air into the fragrance can change. You know, it can change the way that the whole fragrance smells. A lot of times, the last 10 or 20, 30 mils of a bottle is the best, you know?
Yeah. And you see the fact of aging is extremely important. So that's why we see me, you know, using this aged ingredients, you know, that people used to make fun of it before, but, you know, it does make a difference. It does make an amazing difference. And then we have our Indian sprayable collection now. And I forgot to mention, most of these fragrances aged more than 1 year, macerated within Perfumers alcohol for 1 year or more. Each single one of them, like before we used to release fragrances like the second collection, third collection, it's just like 1 month of aging and that's it, ready to go. Here
Maceration, yeah.
It's 1 year of maceration, you know, these fragrances.
Wow.
Then the latest things I bought is the new bottle of Rocha's Femme. And again, you see it's different. My older original bottle was gold cap. The newer bottle is the black cap. And both of them are identical in my personal opinion. You know, I sprayed them, and both of them kind of the same. And I'm happy with either one of them. So it's either the gold cap or the black cap. Obviously, both of them vintage, but they are different. And you see the juice color is also different. So you have the gold cap version.
Yes, I also found the Pure Parfum.
Oh yeah, that's I seen it in your video. So have you tested it yet? How is it?
Yes, it is extremely spicy in the opening, more spicy actually. I think I mean, it's very good, but for, you know, 7.5 mils or whatever this is, yeah, 7.5 mils. Honestly, for what I paid for it, I just prefer the Parfum de Toilette that I have.
Yeah, I seen that you often choose the lower concentration when you actually have a chance to compare. You choosing the lower concentration, I guess, to do with the balance and the notes. That's the sad news. The sad news that I finished 2 bottles of Girl and Heritage already. Eau de Toilette, 2 bottles already finished. And even the third is finished just a few days ago. It's Eau de Parfum Heritage. Yes, and finally, yeah, I can definitely say that Eau de Parfum is nothing close in comparison to Eau de Toilette. I personally believe the formula has been changed slightly.
Yeah.
So Eau de Toilette have, with the gold cap, obviously, have this very, very, very nice bouquet of spices, floral notes, and it's just perfectly balanced. It's perfectly, you know, sweet. It's perfectly everything is perfect about this fragrance, apart from, for me personally, the performance. Obviously, the performance, due to the fact that it's Eau de Toilette, for me, it's not extremely lasting. But I mean, I'm happy about it. And obviously, Eau de Parfum was stronger, but I believe formula been tweaked, and I got some unpleasant nuances in the base of Eau de Parfum, so I didn't like it much.
That's why I don't own it.
For this, and maybe I will buy another 2 bottles soon. So two already finished.
Yes, I'm so glad you like that, because this is one of my favorite fragrances of all time. And I think this fragrance inspired so many other fragrances. You know, it was, and if you really want to nerd out about it, you can go back and see old Guerlains in this and new Guerlains. I mean, it's just it's the capstone fragrance of Guerlain. It caps everything off, and I think it's Jean-Paul Guerlain's best masculine. even better than Abbey Rouge. I love Abbey Rouge, but Heritage to me is it's my number one masculine Guerlain.
Yeah,
Dirty
definitely.
and Heritage.
But it's arranged in the 80s style when they already start to combine like freshness with the heaviness, and the heaviness is not as evident. Obviously, I personally prefer Guerlain's in terms of the style from 1920s, 30s, 40s. Like Bouquet de France. The JD and original extract, the extract Metsuko. But yeah, in terms of the position, the heritage is the top. Another bad news. See, I'm coming.
Ah,
I'm coming very close to finish this wonderful fragrance. But just yesterday, I went to Hermes boutique. I tested. They don't have it for sale, but they do have a newer Bellamy versions. Bellamy Vetiver I tested, and original Bellamy in their newer formulation. And I would say it's not bad. It's not that bad. It's very nice, but I think this is better. Again, an amazing fragrance. For me personally, only the complaint is the performance. It's not very long lasting, but I think what we pay for this compromise is this amazing bouquet, perfectly balanced, perfectly arranged notes that creates this, amazing scent of leather. Very, very industrial, very, very beautiful leather.
get Bellamy Vetiver. Get the Vetiver version and try it. I think you'll like it.
I tried, yes, yesterday I tried vetiver and the original one, both recent formulation. It was nice, but you smell it on its own, the vetiver Bellamy, you're like, wow, that's amazing. Then you smell this in comparison, you're like, no, man.
Yeah.
No, it's too sweet, it's too much vetiver. So once you don't have things to compare, you will be definitely 100% pleased with the vetiver. But I would say no, this is way, way better. Another things I purchased, I want to share with you is few small things like Cardin, the Pierre Cardin. It's a very, very nice classical Oriental Shipra with the
Which one's that?
It's Cardin, Pierre Cardin.
Is it for women?
I guess so. I'm not sure. Then we have Casanova. This is remarkable. This is remarkable fragrance. Casanova Eau de Toilette. I added the sprayer here. It was a splash. This is really a civet bomb. Amazing civet bomb. Like Curious type of civet, but more floral, more spicy. Very, very nice. Another fragrance I got recently as a gift, Rubis Noir. Rubis Noir is a very, very nice oak moss floral Shipra. It's from Garaud Perfumes.
I've never heard of that.
I maybe will type later on in the comments so people,
Yeah.
if they're interested, they can check it out. Then definitely this bad boy is very nice.
Yes.
Thank you for your suggestion. That's the recent formulation. Very, very cheap. Very, very pleasant. Again, this 80s fresh animalic combination is extremely, extremely unique, extremely well done. And yeah, we really do not know how they can manage this type of fragrances at this type of prices. It's absolutely mind blowing. And to me personally, in the later dry down, it gives a vibe of shoes polish liquid, which I personally love. I personally love the smell of freshly polished shoes. So that's the vibe I'm getting from this in the late dry down. It's absolutely amazing. You can feel like maybe ingredients are not that expensive. It's a bit synthetic, but the result is mind-blowingly good.
Yes. How about for just a modern perfume, right? I don't know how they do it. I have no clue how they do it. They must have their perfumer like under lock and key.
Yes. Then again, thanks to your suggestion, I used to love this fragrance, but in eau de toilette concentration, I had very big 470 ml bottle that I used to shower with a lot. And then you suggested the, I don't know, it's extract or eau de parfum. So then
Yes.
and it's absolutely wonderful as well in this heavier concentration. It's very, very nice. Again, 100 something dollar, I think is worth it. It's very, very beautiful.
Yeah, people are selling those on eBay for 10 times that price. It's definitely worth it. There is a fragrance that I prefer in extract in heavier concentration, Bala Versailles.
But have you tried Eau de Toilette?
I have not. I have not tried it. No.
That's why, man. I think you will try Eau de Toilette. You will like it as well very much because it's very, very, very amazing, very nice. My latest purchase is Ethan. Ethan, my stepbrother, the Roxbury Patchouli fragrance. I purchased it because I love to support new young artisanal perfumers. I love to support what they do. If they really follow their heart, they do what they love. I really appreciate it and I want to support them. So I purchased this fragrance and I absolutely love this fragrance because it's patchouli decorated perfectly, almost like I took the Indian attars, I decorated them slightly here and there, presenting them in a more modern way, in a more modern form, and you have your beautiful attar framed in something more modern. Same thing I think he done here. Very simple, very straightforward, but extremely nice, extremely well done. Very, very dark, aged, heavy, almost Cambodian like oud patchouli, decorated with some resin, some spices, some geranium, something a bit fresh, something a bit even floral, dark fruits, resins. Really loves it.
I did a video on this on my channel. You guys can go check it out. Roxbury, Attar. Actually, I have an entire playlist dedicated. There's only one video, Roxbury, but I still have his other two he sent me. I haven't had a chance to do the video yet, but I will soon. He sent me Patchouli Lava, and he also sent me the Bright Lights. So he has 3 fragrances, but this Roxbury is the one where Anton used the very highly aged patchouli, right?
Yes, patchouli from 1970 or I don't remember, 1995 or something. Over 20 years old patchouli. I shared with him, and you have this patchouli sample in its pure format as well. I send it to you in the set of your samples. It's labeled as highly aged patchouli.
Yes, it's here. It's here somewhere. I really enjoyed that one. And I enjoyed the patchouli by Russian Atom that smells like oud. You should work with that one more.
Yeah, definitely. I'm working on the fragrance.
Oh, that's good stuff. Rachel asks, when will there be individual bottles for sale?
In about 1 month or so, when all the people will be able to receive and study the samples.
Nice. 1 month, Rachel. So a month of sample set, and then 1 month the full bottles will be available. And you're working on a new website. How's that going?
Yeah, we already done the new website. People already used it during the release, and I'm absolutely happy about it. The way it worked, the way everything went through. It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Beautiful. No crashes. Everything went well. I'm glad to hear it.
Yes, exactly.
That's good to hear, man. Well, I know that you have been a busy man, and I know we planned for an hour. We're at 2 hours already, although I think I spent 10 minutes before you got on. So I won't keep you. I know that you're filling orders and making sure all the sample sets are ready to go. I think you have a hit with the 7th collection. It's very unique. The history of the Attar Collection. You guys can still go buy these. So check these out. I think this is a good quality for what it is. And then I'm sure you'll find 1 or 2 that you think are full bottles. For me, it's probably the Shifra and Beauty and the Beast. But there's others to consider as well. So I'm gonna have to spend some more time with these, but they are very good. I hope you guys can get your nose on these if you're interested. It's a great way to smell the entire set and then decide which ones are full bottle worthy. Thank you, Adam. Thanks for joining us, my friend. I really do appreciate it. Any closing words for everybody?
Yeah, man, pleasure is all mine. Just want to thank everybody for continuous, support and trust. Extremely happy to continue doing what I'm doing. And as I said, always behind the scene, many things are happening. Our perfumes with Bortnikoff coming soon, some of the perfumes getting ready, some of the classics will be released, and so on. So many things always keeping us excited and very happy, always waiting for new good things to come. So thank you so much, and thank for everybody watching and everybody trusting and supporting us.
Appreciate the support. Yes, absolutely. Many people are saying they ordered their sample sets, and I think we're all kind of in Arise Ladore's debt as far as a brand goes for really showing, what the real ingredients can do, taking it in another direction. I know you've said many times that you will go in many different directions. This is a great example of, showing your versatility as a distiller, as a perfumer, how you can release some things that are extremely heavy, almost like Attar in full spray, like something like Russian Oud. And then also you can release something that, like, even this henna flower fragrance is beautiful. I mean, I'm smelling it here, and just there's nothing I can compare any of these to. Maybe it's because I've never smelled real Indian Attars, but if you're someone like me who's only focused on Western perfumery, this is going to give your nose, I think, something completely different that you've never smelled before. And I mean, what more, as frag heads, what more can you ask for than a totally new experience with high quality materials and all that good stuff? And not to mention, you're supporting someone as humble and kind and amazing as Adam. So I appreciate you joining, my friend. It's been a pleasure. I wish we could do these more. I know we're all busy, but Russian Adam interview part 3 is always fantastic to have you on, my friend. And I hope this is a huge hit for you. And I know everyone's waiting for the collaboration with Bortnikoff. So big things coming for the brand of Arise Ladore, it sounds like.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Very big honor, very big pleasure. Hope to see you soon. Very soon.
Yes, it's an honor to have you. Thanks to everyone in the chat. Thank you for everyone who asked a question and joined the live stream. The video will be up so everyone can watch it, and appreciate it. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Adam. It's been a pleasure, my friend.
Yes, thank you so much. Bye.
Take care. Bye, guys.